So you got 9 months clean today, though.
Today, yep.
That's awesome. That's like miraculous.
It is. It's a long time.
You remember how hard it was to get 1 day?
I remember how hard it was to get a minute, let alone
minute.
like an hour. Like, seriously, I remember just like, yeah.
Yeah, man. And you don't have to pray to the porcelain god anymore.
I know.
I hated that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to TruthAddiction. This is the channel that deals with the disease of addiction and all the ways it manifests itself. I am a recovering addict, and my name is Brian, and I suffer from a disease which is incurable, progressive, and sometimes fatal. It can, however, be arrested at some point, and recovery is then possible. Sitting here with my new friend, Megan. Can I get a pound, Megan?
What's up? Meg.
So, Meg? Meg? Okay, we'll go Meg. So, full disclosure, so we were just talking about it. My Facebook is just full with people in recovery. And I came across your post in my feed, and I seen you talking about recovery, and I'm like, you know what? I got to get more women on the show. So I kind of stalked your page.
It's okay.
You know, and I seen some good stuff you were putting. Hit you up a couple days ago, and here you are today.
And here I am.
I'm really glad you could come.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so this is what we do here. I got some questions that need to be answered. You're going to be the one who answers them. You ready?
I guess I'll ever be.
Before we get into this, hit that like button. Leave me a comment. I don't care what you say. Tell me your fucking dog's name or something. I don't really care, man. And hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. All right, so you ready?
I'm ready.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been sober?
I am Meg. I'm an alcoholic, and I have 9 months sober today.
We'll give you a clap for that. 9 months, that's amazing. All right, so kick this off. Start us off. So where were you born? Where were you raised? And tell us a little bit about your early childhood.
All right. I was born in Upland, Pennsylvania, which is Delaware County, right outside of Chester, PA. We lived in Delaware for like a year, first 6 years of my life. And then we moved to southern Lancaster County.
Okay, I've
where
been up there.
I was raised. It was like farmland, Amish country, 20 minutes to the local grocery store, took 45 minutes to the cops to get to your house type of thing. You know what I mean? It was very rural, very open area. But I had a great childhood, came from a loving family, 2 parents still together. My dad's a very hard worker. But they also don't understand the disease of addiction.
Well, not many people do.
Right.
It's kind of like we just have to understand that they don't understand, and that's good enough.
My dad's never had a speeding ticket. It's that like that.
So you're a perfect example of that. Like, you can have a great childhood.
Absolutely. Family vacations every year, a ton of love, but like knowing what I know now, I have also the disease of more.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
So do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay, so how many brothers and sisters?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
All right, cool. Did any of them get whacked out, or they?
No.
Yeah, see?
No, I'm the only one.
See, we tend to get connected with this. Oh, they must have came from bad childhoods and had all these whack people.
I didn't.
Like, sometimes I know plenty of people, man, that had great lives, and they just. When you have that disease, you just have it. I don't know whether you're born with it or you probably at least develop it at a young age.
Probably, that's what I would think, because now that I look back, like I always, like when I was going through my step work and I was doing my steps and I was thinking about like my resentments against people, and I was like, wait a minute here, like I resented people for not giving me enough attention, but then really I just wanted more attention. And that's kind of where I think it all started. At a young age, is that disease of more. And it manifests in different ways with that disease of more.
Absolutely it does. So what high school did you go to? Did you graduate?
I did. I graduated in class of 2002 from Solanco High School in Quarryville, PA.
You were a good student?
I was. I made it by because I had to get a C average or higher to be on the cheerleading squad. So I cheered my whole life.
Okay.
I was in crowd, you know what I mean? Like I cheered. I played maybe 1 year softball, but I was like, I'm tiny. So like I only made the team because my strike zone was so small. And they walked me every time I got on base.
Whatever works, man. Yeah. So, all right. So how about your teenagers? You remember? So you said play sports. Do you have any like hobbies? Anything? How was that?
Well, like I said, I cheered. Right. I sing. I have a passion for singing.
Nice.
Yes, and
What kind of music you like singing?
I like everything. I like classical music.
Yeah?
I do like church music.
Wait, what do you mean like
Classical.
Beethoven?
I grew up on like Shirley Temple and like old school. My aunt was a music teacher.
Okay.
So like I grew up with all genres, but I do love country music. That's my heart.
I don't like I don't like any country before like 95.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I just but a lot of the new stuff right now is freaking great, man. I'm getting into. I'm an old school hip hop dude / R&B.
See, I like that stuff too.
Yeah,
I like that stuff too.
Dude, I actually went to American Idol. I tried to be on American Idol before.
I went to The Voice.
Years ago.
I went to The Voice.
Did you?
I did. Made it through 3 rounds.
Did you? Nice.
Yeah.
I made it. So I make it to the second one. See, people out there, they think that like you see like those people right away.
Oh no, it's like there's levels. Yeah.
So I got called back for the second one, and then I got there and they were like, "Hey, we ran your record, and here I had a warrant. I had a warrant for fucking scofflaw for tickets." And then I just never went. And then my addiction took off and it was trash.
Yeah. See, this was before my addiction. I went up and like my aunts, we piled on the train, went up to New York.
Okay.
Made it through the first 3 rounds, and then. You know, but like you said, it's the behind. Everybody was like, "You were on The Voice? What season? Where can I see it?" It's like, no, it wasn't aired because I didn't make it there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so tell us, what age did you start using?
I dabbled with like ecstasy pills, and like I smoked weed I think once in my life when I was 18 out of a Coke can. That's how. But I didn't pick up my first hard drug and start my run until I was 32.
So, 18, what was it you said you did out of a can?
Smoked weed out of a Coke can.
I thought you said So that's pretty good. So you went till 18 just to smoke some weed out of a Coke can?
Yeah, one time. I felt like I was in the Gravitron. It was awful. I hated it.
That's one of my favorite rides, the Gravitron. Actually.
Yeah, I was just on it at the in Chamonix Carnival. But I partied in high school once, maybe twice. Okay. You know, went out partying, drinking, called my mom for a ride home, that type of thing. I was a good kid.
So usually I ask people, like, do they think that was a peer... Do you think that the 18-year-old one was like a peer pressure thing?
Absolutely not.
No?
Man, I went, listen, when my senior class trip, I'm sorry, Mom, if you're watching this, my senior class trip, I went
What's up, Mom?
Right, I went to Six Flags. My mom was a chaperone, right? Mm-hmm. And I took an ecstasy pill, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
but it wasn't peer pressure. It was I just wanted to do it. Yeah.
All right. So, what did that make you feel like when you took that first?
$1 million.
Yeah.
And the grass felt like $1 million. Mm-hmm. And I talk to everybody now as it is because I'm a people person.
Yeah.
But like I took off. But then I was able to stop at that point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I had other things in my life. I then went on. Had children, got married, then divorced.
Okay.
Twice.
2 times.
Boom.
Right.
Yeah. Became a single mom of 3 kids, and that was really hard for me.
And you're not using this whole time?
Nope, I'm sober.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep, socially drinking, but I could put it down at that time. Right. You know, I could have a glass of wine. Yeah, I was probably really tipsy because my tolerance was nothing. But yeah, I was sober. I wasn't in full-blown addiction yet, but now that I look back, I noticed the patterns of things that like I could see myself leading up to when I first picked up my first hard drug.
That's going to be my next question. So before you actually picked up that first hard drug, going back to even when you were a kid, do you see signs of the disease of addiction? And explain that to us.
So like I said, when I was a kid, like I was the oldest of 4. It was me and then my brother, my sister, and then I had a younger brother who I was 14 or 15 when he was born. So like I noticed that my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, when he was born, like my mom tells me this happened, my whole family tells me this happened. Like he was laying down, my mom put him down, and like instead of going around him, I stepped right on him. Yeah, like I was so jealous. And like you know, now that I think back, like I used to get so mad when my mom and dad wouldn't pay attention to me. Right. Or I didn't have enough clothes. I would steal my sister's clothes out of her closet and wear them and like lie about it.
Do you have good manipulation skills back then?
I thought I did.
Yeah.
I thought I did.
Me too.
I could bullshit a bullshitter.
Did you ever did you have that feeling like you wanted to be somebody else? You know what I mean? Like
I always felt like I wanted to be my brothers and sister.
Right.
You
Okay,
know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
like I always felt like they outshined me, and I was on the back burner.
So you're already kind of coping with life
Right.
the wrong way.
Right. So I would
Basically,
always
yeah.
reach out to my aunt, who is my godmother, and she's now passed. She passed 3 years ago. But I mean, we can get into that a little bit later. But she was my lifeline. I would call her up and say, "My mom's making me mad," and she would come get me, and I would hang out with her, and like she was my lifeline, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So, so you started using the harder drugs when you said 32?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
after my
32.
second divorce, I moved back down to southern Lancaster County from Lebanon County. I lived in Lebanon County for about 12, 13 years. My ex-husband was military, Fort Indian Gap, worked full-time at the VA. So we were out there. I moved back to southern Lancaster County, and I left everything up there, and I got a job. I went from back window order taker at $7 an hour at McDonald's to general manager in 2 years.
Nice.
Like I worked, and I'm like very
General
goal.
manager, you get paid pretty good, McDonald's general manager.
I was
right?
like 65 to 70,000
That's
a
pretty
year.
good,
Yeah,
man.
as a single mom though, like I was busting my ass.
Yeah.
You know, I had the car.
You had 3 kids at this point,
Three kids at this point. I had the car, the house, right across the street from the elementary school. You know, you name it. And one day I was trying. I don't want to blame this on this, but one day I was trying to like pass my inspection for the store.
Okay.
And somebody's like, "Here, I got something to help you. Stay up a couple days," and boom, it was off to the races.
That was it? What was
That's,
it? What was it?
That was an Adderall.
Oh, man, yeah, that
Yeah,
Adderall.
it was
man.
an Adderall, and that Adderall led to methamphetamines because I couldn't afford the Adderall anymore.
I was just talking about that with somebody earlier, how most opiate people, when we
start out.
it's pills,
Yep.
and then you just can't afford the pill. You're like, I need to find a cheaper way to get high, man.
Absolutely, and
then-
see, I was that person that before I started using hard stuff
Yeah.
like that. Well, I mean, before I started using every day on a daily basis and would do anything and anything to get it, I was that person that was very judgmental against addicts.
Yeah.
You know, I looked at people and was like, "Why can't you just stop?" I never understood it until I understood it.
Yeah, I had a dude across the street from my house who used to hang on the corner, and he was a heroin dude.
Right.
And I was younger at that point. And he used to just be dipped the fuck out, and I'd be like, man, look how fucking whack that dude. I used to
Right.
mess with the dude. And
Yeah.
all. And cause
I was so judgmental.
I couldn't even conceive of being like that.
Right.
But you fast forward, and here I am at the L stop in Kensington.
Right.
Probably looking way worse than that fucking dude. You know what I mean? But
Listen.
it's just crazy. So
Yeah, I went from like back window order taker to general manager, got hooked on Adderall, which led to methamphetamines.
that's crazy drug.
Listen,
That's crazy drug.
so my mom, I'm a very hyperactive, like I'm a very hyper girl. I'm a little firecracker. I can talk to people. I'm ding, ding, ding everywhere. But you put me on that stuff and I'm doing everything and nothing at once. And like, I thought I hit it very well. I really did. I thought I had it under control. I was living with my parents. It was a couple years. It started as that like every other weekend type thing when I didn't have my kids, right? Just for some good sex type of thing, you know? And
I hear that about a lot of people with meth.
Yeah, and then it led to an every day. Then it led to every couple hours, and then it led to I couldn't live without it. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't function. That type of thing, and it was just a matter of 6 years that it took everything I worked so hard to get.
Yeah. What about your kids? Did you keep those intact? Like, did you have? See, because I'll give you my little story here.
Right.
I lost my kids in active addiction.
I'm sorry.
And my, I still couldn't stop using. Like I didn't lose them yet, but I couldn't stop using. And they were like, if you don't stop using, your kids are gone.
So now
my sister had to step in on me.
My children. I kept my children. I still have custody of my kids.
Okay.
I do. But my kids are now, I turned over temporary guardianship while I'm in my program of recovery in order for me to get my life straightened back out.
Yeah.
What had happened was my son and my daughter, I have 3 children. My oldest daughter lives with her father in Lebanon County. My younger two lived with me.
Okay.
My younger two are now 14 and 13. And my son looked at me one day and said, Mom, when you're done your drugs, we'll come back.
Yeah.
And they packed their shit and they left me.
Man.
So like children and youth wasn't involved.
Right.
My family
kind of,
I did get very lucky, and I'm still very lucky. I'm very blessed to have the family that I have. At the time when they were saying, Megan, let us take the kids and you go get help.
Me too. Yeah.
I didn't look at it that way. I'm like, oh, I got it. Or like, there's nothing wrong with me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm totally fine.
I'm okay. It's just
I'm just
meth.
doing a drug that you can make from like supplies out of your shed.
Yeah, right?
Basically.
Yeah. I'm snorting bleach, you know? Can you imagine? But like, they walked out on me. My kids walked out on me, and that was the hardest thing. And it only took me a couple months to get my ass in gear and get to.
You know what though? To be honest, so I would imagine you got the greatest gift that we can all get, and that's that desperation.
Absolutely,
You're just fucking
I did.
So desperate.
So I got that gift of desperation finally when I went to White Deer Run in Lebanon County for detox, and I said, nope, I ain't doing this. Right?
Yeah.
It was not for me. I left. And it was I left AMA, and then it was so I wasn't done yet. You know what I mean?
Good. So I'm gonna get into that. So
all right.
Take us back to the day before your last use this time.
The day before
What's
my
going
last
through your
use.
head? What's happening?
All right. So the day before my last use, I was with my mom and dad. I was living at their house, and so my kids are like at my brother's. My son's at my brother's, and like my son's a very good baseball player. Very good pitcher. And I just remember it was a fall ball. And I was getting high at his game. Mm-hmm. And then I went home, and I was embarrassed. At this point, like, I was so embarrassed. It was 6 years. I went from 160 pounds looking real healthy to like 105. And and I looked like complete crap. I had pick marks everywhere. I mean, I was embarrassed.
At least you were aware of that you looked bad. When I was at my
I thought I looked good though. I was like, I'm skinny. I fit in.
I was about to say, I thought I looked good.
Me too.
Throw up on my sneakers,
Right.
Same jeans on for like 3
I'm like,
weeks.
you're just hating because I'm thinner than you
I
now,
look
but
so
really,
good
I
right
looked.
now. Look at all these chicks looking at me. Like, I
Right.
was fucking
They're looking
blacked
at you
out.
because you look like shit, bro.
Exactly, man.
You know, and I was just embarrassed, and I didn't have anything that day, and you know how we are, us addicts will walk over anybody for that next fix, right? So like I'm screaming at my mom, and my parents are like the best support system I have. My dad is the most wonderful man in the world, and like I'm being so ignorant and brutal and like mentally abusing my parents because I don't got something, you know. And then I finally said, Megan, enough is enough.
Yeah, we kill the ones we
oh
love.
my God, with
We kill the ones we
emotional,
love. Yeah, emotional.
like
yeah.
I emotionally deteriorated my parents. You know what I mean?
We steal their hopes and dreams.
Absolutely,
and shit.
absolutely.
And that's worth more than just like anything monetary.
Absolutely.
When like my mom, I remember my mom telling me one time, I wish you were dead so I didn't have to worry about you at night. Yeah, my mom said that shit to me, man.
So, you know, my mom tells me, you know, when you have kids, you worry about, you know, did you raise them well? And then when your kids move out, you worry about them every day. Are they going to be okay? You know, and just taking that peace and serenity from my parents on a daily just killed me. You know what I mean? So, like, anyway, enough was enough. That gift of desperation finally hit me, and like I lost everything. Yeah. I was 38, back in my parents' house, you know, barely in my parents' house because they'd had enough at this point. And I said, I'm ready to go. So we all sat down, we got into White Deer Run, and then I AMA'd.
Did you? Okay.
I was like, peace. This is not for me, bro. So I was out the door.
I deserve better than this.
And I thought I did.
Yeah.
You know, because I was laying in a bed, like detox, whatever. Yeah. So then I went out. I was out for another week.
Right.
And then I finally got a hold of my cousin in Ohio. I said, I need help. I need you to Uber me back to my mom and dad's. Okay. He sent me the money. He's in recovery as well. And he said, promise me you're going. And I said, I promised him I was going, and I headed back to my mom and dad's. And it was only a few days later, and I got a bed up at Pyramid Lane.
Okay, nice.
And that's how I ended up here in Levittown.
Okay, so yeah, I'm from South Philly. I ended up here once I got clean 6 years ago.
I didn't stay here though. Once I got out of rehab.
Okay.
I got out of rehab and went back to. There's a hotel around here that Village Lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I went. That was home.
Yeah.
Because
that's a
I
whack
left.
ass place, ain't it?
Right. So I sat in. I sat in my
There's
room.
like a lot of crack being smoked in that joint.
I walk out the door, right? The first night I get there, somebody ODs in the room next to me.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, the SWAT team's coming in 3 doors down to pull 3 people out. And I'm like in this room, I wouldn't leave because in my mind, I'm like, I've already relapsed before I relapsed.
Right.
So I finally surrendered.
You're not using though yet.
No, I'm still sober.
So you surrendered and said,
I surrendered and said, I'm going to a recovery house.
Yeah. It's a great, recovery house is a great tool.
It is. And I thought being a single mom, I was like, I got to go back to my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was that moment that I have nothing.
Yeah, you have to get better on you have to be right by yourself.
Absolutely.
First,
I just didn't want my kids to think that I abandoned them again.
Yeah, and I got
because I did for drugs.
Dude, I deal with it every day. I've been 6 years clean. I'm still haunted by it. I'm still haunted by that because at the end of the day, it's still fucked up. No matter how much we come to these meetings and they clap for us and we get coins and fucking key tags.
There's still people out there that depend on us.
And you're still, I'm sure my kids are probably like, man, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, I did. I took time and I said, you know what, my kids might resent me for this, but I'm going to do it. And I did, and I'm so happy I did. I went to Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Okay. I found a recovery house out there, got kicked out.
Okay. What you do? What you do, man?
I didn't use.
Okay,
I was filling voids. Let's just do that.
You had a dude in the crib or something?
No, I just went out too much.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, then I went to another recovery house where I got kicked out again. And then I went to...
Some behaviors.
It's them behaviors. It's the disease manifesting.
You realize then that like the particular substance you were using really wasn't the problem.
Absolutely. Meg is the problem. Meg is the problem.
Right.
So anyway, got kicked out. The second recovery house I was in, I went to a hotel and I was there for 2 nights, still sober.
Okay.
Went back to that recovery house. They gave me a second chance, took a unauthorized overnight, got kicked out again. So then it was like, let's make a phone call to Levittown because there was one particular house in Levittown that I tried to avoid for obvious reasons, a 30-day man ban.
Ooh, you didn't like that.
Didn't want to hear that.
30-day man ban, you said?
Yes, when I came
it's not called blackout, it's called man ban?
I was on a 2-week blackout and a 30-day man ban. No men for 30 days.
I never heard of no shit like that.
I'll tell you what, it made you sit with yourself and really get comfortable with yourself. And
dude, it really is a good thing. You really got to try to sit with your fucking self early on in recovery.
Absolutely. Man. So I came to Levittown with 4.5 months sober.
Yeah.
And I found this house that was a perfect fit for me, even though I was pushing it off for so long.
Right.
And it's been a blessing ever since. That 30-day man ban wasn't shit, man.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I may or may not have broke it once or twice, but we won't say that on camera.
Right. Yeah. Well, you already did, but whatever. Maybe I can cut that out, but
it's okay.
I probably won't, just saying.
It's all right.
But anyway, so talk about the disease of addiction. So we were talking earlier. I said I refer to it as a disease of addiction.
Right.
I think it's all inclusive.
Right.
It's just all. You can destroy your life with a fucking slot machine as much as you can with a fucking bag of dope.
You can destroy yourself with men,
women.
What?
Well, listen, I'm gonna have one of those conversations one day, but you can definitely be addicted to a person. That codependency shit and all that stuff.
Higher power. You make them your higher power, and that's where that 30-day man ban
you can
comes
die
in.
real quick off a toxic relationship.
Absolutely.
Just people in prison right now for fucking toxic relationships.
Absolutely.
But so, when you hear that, the disease of addiction, like you have the disease of addiction, somebody has it. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to have the disease of addiction? Like if you can
what does it mean to, now you're going to stump me on this one. What does it mean to have the disease of addiction? I have the disease of more. I constantly want more.
Right.
I constantly want more. I want more attention. I want more drugs.
Yeah.
Like one line wasn't enough. I had to do 3. You know, being up for 7 days wasn't enough. I had to, be up for more.
You're right, though. So I kind of add to that, like, I look at it like I'm always seeking more than my fair share of whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you go to the store and you buy one. I can't just buy one Red Bull.
Dude, it's so crazy.
You know?
I got, like, the food thing's getting me. The food. I go in on food to the point where it's like, you should really stop eating this right now. And then then my brain's like, no, we're good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Right.
So, do you think it's curable?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I do not believe it's curable. I think it's manageable.
That's a good word.
I think it's manageable.
It's arrestable.
Yes. It's something that you could, like, I don't want to say push down because you don't want to push anything down, but, like, you can put it on the back burner.
You can put it in a really dark place inside.
You can seal it tight with a Ziploc bag.
Right. So you can't hear it and see
it. And you can, as long as you work on the inner parts. I know a lot of people.
Tell us how you do that. How do you work on your inner parts?
So with a 12-step program.
What's that mean?
Everybody's 12-step program might be a little bit different, but it starts with surrendering, realizing you have an addiction. You're powerless over that addiction.
Right.
And I am completely powerless over my addiction.
So what's that? That includes like sponsorship, meetings?
Yeah. So when I came to Levittown, I went to 3 different houses, so I had to do 3 90 and 90s. You know what I mean? But I did it.
Yeah.
I did. I make a meeting. I still make a meeting every day.
That's a good thing.
I have a great connection with women in recovery. I have a strong network.
And that's even a better thing.
Absolutely. So like my sponsor, I call her, but I don't gotta call her every day. And it's because I have a great network of women and men, and mostly women now, that I cling to, that I can call, and I'm in a recovery house. So like, I'll lean on them first, and like they've got me through some dark times, man. Even in sobriety.
Because you are them and they are you.
They are. It's a we. I believe it's a we thing.
Like, you know what's up with each other without even saying
accountability. Accountability is huge. And
for sure.
When my first 2 recovery houses, I didn't hold myself accountable for any of my actions. Like, as I did with active addiction.
Right.
Like, it was always somebody else's problem. It wasn't Meg's problem.
Right.
And now that I've done work on my insides and didn't just dress up the outside, because when I first got out of rehab, I'm like, hey, I'm back, I'm here, I look good, I gained some weight. Mm-hmm. But like, that's all fine and dandy. Yeah. But like, until you do the work in here, until you get that conscious contact with your higher power, and you really do that work, you ain't.
Higher power is important.
Higher power is very important.
I'm not religious, but I do accept the power of the group.
Amen.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, for me, it's the people.
Listen,
my program has saved my fucking life.
Absolutely.
There's no question about it. And I know if I leave it, I will use. And I know that from personal experience.
Right.
Just from
me.
me.
So relapse is not part of my story yet.
Right.
And I
don't ever need to be.
I'm praying that it's not.
I'll give you a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
I had 8 years doing the whole thing. H&I commitments, going into rehabs and speaking. I had the home group, I had sponsees. But then right around the 8-year mark, I decided I'm going to get married and I'm normal now.
Yeah.
It took me a whole year and 2 months to actually use a drug.
Wow. So you relapsed before the relapse.
Right. I passed that invisible line we passed.
Yep.
You ain't passed it yet, so that's good.
Yeah.
But it's this line we cross where you don't know it yet, but there's no going back.
Right.
You are going to use. You are going to put the drug in your body.
And that's where the higher power also comes in. Like I grew up Catholic.
Right, me too.
And I went to church every Sunday with my parents religiously, did communion, did first communion, confirmation, all the way up, got married in the Catholic church. Mm-hmm. And then I got divorced, and like when you get divorced, we won't get into that, but I had an issue with the Catholic Church, and I stopped going, and then I stopped going because I was in full-blown addiction, and I was just embarrassed to go.
It's one of the first things you lose is your God.
Absolutely.
Is your higher power, your understanding of that.
When I lost, I know when I lost that, and I I believed in a punishing God. So like if I like, what do I do? Go sit down and like confess my sins, it'll all go away?
Yeah.
Or like I'm gonna go to hell because I'm an addict. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was really, God and I did not see eye to eye. And then when I came into the rooms, they were saying, you give your will over to God. And I was like, yeah. What?
Yeah.
And then, so like at first I didn't believe, and it was hard for me to connect with a higher power, but I borrowed
Right.
the higher power.
We'll believe for you until you believe.
Yep. And then I finally, got that
and you know what?
conscious
That'll
contact.
change. I'll tell you. So I'm just, see, the reason I don't believe in a God, I don't believe in any God is because
Right.
I'm a fucking science nut. I'm just into science. And I believe in that thing. But the great thing about it is my sponsor's Catholic.
Yeah.
He's highly religious.
Yeah.
But if me and him were, if you listen to us talk about our higher power, you would think we were talking about the same thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I pray, and when I don't pray, I feel it. I know it.
And I pray. I meditate.
Right.
I try to do those things, man. It's important.
And it's very, very, it's very important because like once you grasp the fact that you have no control over your life and you give your will over to God or your higher powers, you understand it. That's life changing, bro.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Like that alone has made my life like a complete turnaround.
Because, there's going to be times where not everybody's going to answer the phone. And
Right.
you're there on your own.
Right. And who are you going to talk to?
Who you talking to, man?
That's me and my buddy upstairs.
All right, so let's bring it to date now, right?
Yes,
So you've
let's
been through
go
your
to date.
struggles,
Yep.
your trifling self doing trifling things.
Wow.
And now here you are.
And now here I am.
Celebrating 9 months.
Okay, 9 months.
How's life today, man?
Life is lifey.
Life, yes.
Life on life's terms. I had my uncle pass away last week.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So, and that was rough for me because the last person who passed away was my aunt, who I was telling you about earlier in my story, who was like my go-to. And that's when my addiction really took off. But like, I don't remember her funeral.
Right.
So like, this was the first funeral I went to that like, I'm sober. And I clung to the network of people that I've created, that circle. And they've really helped me through it.
Right.
And, but life is lifey. Life sucks better sober.
Yeah.
It does.
Right.
There's nothing else I can really say about it.
So
I have a great job now. I'm a direct support professional at Woods Services. So I work with children with autism.
Nice.
I have my PA certification to pass medication.
Okay.
At 9 months sober.
So you were telling me about something you were doing today, this morning in Kensington, Philadelphia. What were you doing? Just give us a little bit of that.
So I went down to Kensington, it was called Back in Kensington with a nonprofit organization. And we went down we had pizza, we fed the homeless, we had a bunch of donations, we were taking donations, giving back what was so freely given to me because we also had people there who were willing to help people go to, teach them about recovery.
Right.
Because I think when people are looking at like going into rehab, especially when you're stuck in Kensington for like a couple years and you have nothing left, like that barrier is like, okay, I go to rehab, but then what?
Right.
So they don't go.
Yeah.
So like that was kind of what we were doing today, down there explaining to them, hey, this is what, well, let's set you up with these people. And we had a good.
Some good things are happening.
Absolutely.
You're in
I'm in service. Yes.
And this is a great thing, man.
This is wonderful.
So what I would like for you to do is I want you to look in that camera. And if there's somebody out there that's struggling,
right.
and they don't think they can get a day, they don't think they could do it, maybe they think they're worse off than we were.
Right.
Who knows? Even though I was straight fucking trash, but whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they think that. What would you say to that person?
I would say to that person, recovery is possible. Get help. There's hope.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would, that's very well said. I'd probably say the same thing, man. Like if you're in that spot, take your ass to rehab.
Absolutely.
And then once you get out of there, hit you a 12-step program. There's plenty of them.
Absolutely. And don't let like your children or family or anything be that barrier either, because like coming from a single mom of kids, like I always thought I couldn't leave my kids. But my kids are better.
That type of shit will keep you out there.
Yes.
Thinking like
my
that.
Kids are better now that I'm getting better.
All right, cool. All right, well, I appreciate this, man. So we come to the end of the interview, and I have these 5 questions that I ask people. I call it the fast ass 5. And they're just stupid questions. No, they're stupid random questions.
All right.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Winter. I love it. Vegetables or candy?
Candy.
Yeah. Horror movie or comedy?
Horror.
Yeah, you're going horror movie?
Yes.
Okay. So you're at the barbecue. You going all beef hot dog or hamburger?
Both.
You're going both. Last question. Rather be brutally honest or lie when you have to?
Brutally honest.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to do it. Give me a pound. I appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
All right, that's going to do it for us, man. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Everything's going pretty good here. I just want y'all to remember this, though. The disease of addiction is broad, and it's outside of the realm of just using drugs, right? So keep coming back. More will be revealed.